When answering the question, what are your strengths? It's really important you find out what the skills the employer is looking for. All too often, candidates go into an interview and just list strengths. For example, they say, I'm good at customer service, I'm good at selling, I'm good at negotiation, I'm good at conflict management. What is so important in an interview, and this is the biggest mistake people make, is you must describe the strengths that you have, provide evidence, and make sure they're relevant to what the employer is looking for. When you just generalize and you list your strengths, you're not providing any evidence. And the people who get the jobs are the people that provide the evidence. Now, evidence is described to the employer or described to the interviewing panel in the form of examples from previous employment. So, for example, if your biggest strength is sales, then talk about your previous results. Hopefully, you may have some print offs of sales figures that you've achieved in the last, say, 6 months to a year. For example, if your strength is customer service, you may have letters from customers, you may have customer service awards. That's what I mean by evidence. And I say the second point is that you can talk about the examples of how you've solved the customer problem, how you've managed a difficult customer, for example. And this is what an employer wants. They want the evidence. So when you tell the story, it resonates with the interviewing panel. So they believe that you actually have got the strengths, and those strengths match the skills that they're looking for. So the best way to answer this question is using features, advantages, and benefits, which is an acronym which is FAB. Now, a feature is something that's fixed, it can't be taken away from you. So it might be a skill, it might be a language, it might be a qualification. Then there's obviously advantages to that particular strength that you have. So, for example, if you're a good communicator, it means that you can talk to various different people. You're good with written communication, you're good with verbal communication, and obviously the benefit might be that you can achieve more sales. So we use FAB when we answer this question because it goes into more depth and gives the interviewing panel more evidence that you're the actual right candidate for the job. Now, what I want to do now is just give you an example, give you a good answer to this question. What are your strengths? In this particular example, this was a person who was applying for a sales position, and it was regarding, well, their strengths were languages, or the skills that the employee was looking for was languages strength and the ability to sell and the ability to communicate. Now, as we just said, a feature is a skill, it's a qualification, it's a language, it's something that's fixed and it can't be taken away from you. For example, as I say, you may speak Spanish, you may have a university degree, you may believe communication is your biggest skill. Again, the key message here is relevance. Make sure that it's actually what the employer wants. An advantage, as I say, simply means what's the advantage of having those skills, and the benefit is what does that do for the employer? Does it save them money? Does it increase efficiency? Um, does it increase return on investment? So the answer therefore would sound something like this. Last year, while working for my existing employer, I used my ability to speak fluent Spanish. The opportunity was the result of an acquisition by a Spanish bank. However, no one in our team could communicate effectively with senior decision makers, which is where I came in to take the lead and as a result closed the deal worth 3.2 million over 3 years. Without the ability to communicate effectively in both presentations and understanding Spanish business culture, it is unlikely we would have won. I know that during the last 7 years in new business sales, your company has increased by 24%. This is why I believe that with my proven track record in sales and my ability to speak Spanish are the reasons why you should hire me, and they're my biggest strengths. If you could give me a couple of minutes, I'd just like to talk you through my sales figures for the past 3 years, where I've achieved 114% in markets that you're about to enter. So hopefully in this sample answer that you've just listened to, you can understand why it's a good answer. And it's a good answer because they use the feature, which is the ability to speak Spanish. The advantage of being able to speak Spanish was this person was be able to communicate effectively, both in written presentations and oral presentations. And their ability to sell was the benefit. The benefits of the employer is this person can achieve 114% of target and can hit £3.2 million deal over 3 years, and they actually physically have the evidence with them. It's the benefits that sell to the employer. Now, what you need to think about is when you look at the job description, what are the skills that the employer is looking for? As I say, if they're looking for negotiation, then you want to say your biggest strength is negotiation. If it is, of course, the key message here is don't fabricate or don't lie, because otherwise you shouldn't be applying for the job if you don't have the necessary skills. What this answer offers you as the candidate is an opportunity to sell yourself and to sell using your experience.